Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Breaking Rad. It is Tuesday, the 5th of April, and I'm here joined with my co-host HP Jameson, and we have guests with us tonight. We don't have Mutt, we don't have Mark, we don't have David, we don't have any of the regulars, but we do have Eric Hodgson, the dreaded dinosaur.
How's it going, everyone?
Doing
Yeah,
well.
great.
How you doing, Eric?
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Got a couple people in the chat. Alex VRB, General Piggy. What's up, guys? Glad you're here. Thanks for being early. Well, we usually have some stragglers joining us after we get on and start chatting. So, how you guys doing? Have a good week?
So far, so good. Did a bunch of repairs on my car today, and that was a pretty penny, but it's a lot more solid now.
That's no fun whenever you have that stuff going on.
Yeah, shocks, struts, sway bar, rear brakes, yeah.
Everything, dang.
My son learned
What
how to
about
change
you, Cal? What's
brakes.
going on?
Yeah, my son learned how to change brakes today. My dad came over and taught him how to do the old brakes thing. I learned when I was 21, but I didn't learn. A guy was like, "Oh, I'll show you how. Come over to my house." And I just kind of stood there and watched him like, "Okay, so you do this?" I didn't learn a thing. But my son learned. He did everything himself, so I'm proud of the boy.
See, but I'm a mechanical dude. I can work with my hands for my day job, and so I'm also incredibly cheap, like incredibly cheap. So I will learn anything to make sure that I can like save $1. Like if it's changing brakes, it's fixing whatever, I'll figure out how to do it. I'll watch a YouTube video. I'm that kind of guy.
So. I admire guys like you. I do.
I'm too cheap. I'm like I was my HVAC went out and I was up there and I bought a multimeter and I was like learning how to check the capacitor to make sure the capacitor was working right and everything, just because I figure like it's good for me to learn. So anyway, that's me. But so we got Stat Zero in the chat. Stat is unfortunately sick. He says that he'll hang out for a while. Hopefully the NyQuil will kick in. R2D2's here. So what's up, Sean? Glad to have you.
Hey, Sean.
Mechanical dude sounds like a future top that pitch. It could be. You never know. You never know.
I'm sure it will be.
I have a great top that pitch tonight. I think I'm ready. You can check your capacitor with your tongue. Eventually, you get good at judging capacity by taste. Yeah, I look. I watched that YouTube video, but I wasn't brave enough to give it a shot. So, but we got a pretty good show for you. It's going to be a little bit of a chill show. We have Eric here. He's going to tell us a little bit about the campaign he is currently working on. We're going to play Name That Death, but we're playing the rerun tonight. Once again, Mark is sick. We're just unprepared. And then we got Top That, and we're going to talk comics with Shortbox. I got some comics this week.
Ooh.
So, got some comics to talk about. So they're not really a whole lot of indie comics, unfortunately, but it's a short box, so I'm pulling old stuff out of the box. So Eric, if you have anything too you wanna share, feel free to grab those.
I am a medium-sized roller in the Silver Age comic book collecting. So yeah, I did get a few Spider-Man books this week.
All right, cool. Excellent. So yeah, well, I guess let's just go ahead and get started and give the people what they want, Cal. And you know what that is. It's Name That Death.
Real quick. So looking forward to our pitching session. This image.
I know, it's really good.
Specifically by me to commemorate this night, because this is our first time getting Lovecraft in our prompts. So I spent a lot of time. I rewrote this pitch. I wrote one, I honed it down, I thought it was good, and then my wife was like, I didn't even get a chance to give her my pitch, and then she was like, "Oh, what if you did this?" And I'm like, crying out loud, lady. So I had to like start all over and rewrote my pitch.
Is this Cthulhu and Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, because she's in the movie Wedding Planner. She plays a wedding planner in the movie Wedding Planner.
So that's
Nice.
funny. I figured that was the catch. Sean, I didn't hurt Mutt's feelings. He is so stuck on the toilet that he couldn't get off in time to stream. His little
If
belly,
he's not on, just assume he's got a bad case of diarrhea or something.
his little belly hurts real bad. Yeah, I thought this it was a really wacky top that role, but it's pretty cool. I think I like it. I was gonna say there's a book series. I may have suggested this before. If any of you guys like to read, or like I listen to Audible a lot on my phone, and there's a book series, and it's by, hold on, 14. It is by, of course, it's not going to show up. Oh, Peter Klein's, and he's an awesome author. But the first book is called 14. Let's see, 14 Peter Klein's, narrated by Ray Porter, and it's amazing. And it is a Cthulhu style.
Is that the one about the apartment building in LA?
Yes.
Dude, I read that book. It's so good.
It's so good. So there's a couple others that go in series with this book.
I did not know that. I have to get that.
Yeah. So I can give you. Let's see. I wish I was prepared.
Keep talking.
All
I
right.
so on the phone.
There's Peter Klein's. Peter Klein's. So there's 14. There's also one called Terminus. It's also in that universe, and then there's one called The Fold, and they are all three kind of Cthulhu based books, and they are all in the same universe as 14. So highly recommended if you guys are into Cthulhu stuff. It's really good. And
sorry I missed all that, but I'll catch the rerun.
Okay. I'll send you the books, Cal. They're fantastic. You should read them.
Yeah, please do. I love the first one, and I thought I was thinking, man, I hope there's going to be more of these, but I guess I didn't check.
They're not like direct sequels or anything, but they're set in the same universe. So you'll see why it works together, and you immediately don't think any of it is going to work at all. But the more you get into the book, you kind of find out why they work. It's really good. I highly recommend Peter Klein's. If any of you nerds out there like books, I listen to books a lot. So yeah. Well, I think we should just go ahead and roll on into Name That Death if you're ready.
I am ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, Name That.
So if you're not familiar, Eric, or anybody else out there, Name That Death is our world famous game show where you have to name the death of or pick the movie whose death you see on the screen. So this is a rerun tonight, so you're going to see some of us talking about movies, and we're just going to skip through, rewatch the scene of death, and then it's our job to guess. If we don't guess, the chat has a chance to guess whenever they want. Stat Zero is the typical winner of most every Name That Death. So he'll probably already know all these, but that's okay.
He's the default winner, yeah.
Default winner always.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we just watched that.
It's such a good intro, though.
We're getting ready to start our world famous segment. World famous.
No.
People know
I'm wearing the same exact outfit.
It's going to be a death from a movie.
I'm wearing a black hat. Oh, you are wearing the same outfit. Oh, my gosh.
All right. So, great movie deaths. So we're going to play along. Have our segment, our video ready?
We do. Boom. Well, no, hey, you got our intro. We got to play.
You got to play our intro.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Here we go.
People already guessed now. The first one's easy. You're showing all the clips.
Oh, my gosh, Boomer.
Oh, look at this.
I know it. Hold on. No.
This is a disaster.
I'm starting over.
The sound's not playing.
It's not?
So, first one's an easy one for y'all. You should know this. If you guys don't know this, you're going to be screwed for the rest of the game. Look, we don't have much. We fixed the masculinity problem for the week.
We did fix that. You're
We
right.
got 3 manly men and manly men in the chat and manly men.
Dave, you should give a 5 second. You have a 5 second like handicap because you're gonna know all these already. Like I just know you're gonna know them.
Let's do this. Here we go.
Nothing. All right, first one.
Oh man,
that was abrupt.
That was. Oh man.
Yeah, me. That was
all right, so that, I know the that was the guy from.
Okay, so
the only thing I can remember.
Pause it. There we go.
That's gonna go on forever anyway.
That's got to be Enemy at the Gates, the sniper story of the Russian sniper from World War II.
Looks like it to me. I watched it. I was a part of that show, and I don't even remember. So
I don't either. All right, well, let's see.
It's Armageddon right now for some reason.
Armageddon.
We got an answer, Mr. Murdoch. You are correct.
Oh my God.
Enemy at the Gate. Although technically, if we're going to be specific about titles, it's not entirely correct.
Gates.
There you go.
Gates, plural, more than one.
Gates plural. There's multiple gates.
You said not Westworld and Milk Money.
Are you thinking of The Rock? Is that the Ed Harris movie you were thinking of?
No, I was thinking of Armageddon.
All right.
Oh, he was so good in The Rock.
The Rock's a great movie. That's probably, besides Con Air, it's got to be Nicolas Cage's finest.
I guess I can skip
Andy
all
is
this
really good. You haven't watched.
I say Con Air is Nicolas Cage's finest work. That accent.
No, it is.
And his mullet, his luxurious mullet.
He was beautiful in that movie.
I like Gone in 60 Seconds though.
All right. That's a great movie too. Dude, Nicolas Cage makes good movies. You just have to admit it. And also really terrible movies.
Absolutely garbage movies.
Next up,
we're only doing 5 this week because Mutt yelled at me and said that it's too many.
Oh, we've since gone back on that. We're back to 7 because
we're back to 7 again. This is ridiculous.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Is that Cable Guy?
That looks like Wesley Snipes. Blade 2? I don't know.
It looked like what's his name? Jim Carrey right there. But I guarantee you past me is gonna guess that it was that movie. I can never think of the name of it with Jet Li in it. Equilibrium, that's the one. Is Jet Li in Equilibrium? I think he is. Maybe not.
What? No,
I'm really bad at this.
That was the one.
The one. I'm really bad at this all the time. Mark's gonna watch this later.
Christian Bale.
Oh, Mark's gonna watch this later and have a heyday making a video about it. The one. Yeah. They're all like saturated with blue though. That's why they all look the same. It makes me think of that. They all have that hyper blue saturation in the colorway.
That Jim Carrey?
No.
Yeah, it looks like Jim Carrey.
See?
This one, the quality on it's rough because I couldn't find clips of it on YouTube. I had to play it on that TV behind me over there and record it with my phone.
Was that Wesley Snipes?
It was.
Oh.
The chat's going to totally get it.
It is not Passenger 57. It is not Demolition Man.
No, it's definitely not Demolition Man. I would know Demolition Man.
This one is, I believe it's the early 2000s.
Oh.
Here, look, I'll give you guys a hint. There's the DVD case back there.
Freeze there. Times 10. Enhance, then forward, frame by frame.
Oh, it's Jack Black.
All right.
No, thanks.
It is not Boiling Point.
He just like leaned over a little bit and it's right there.
It is not Boiling Point.
I've seen this movie. You got it.
Look, I don't think we need to go to war over this.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a hint. That was a clue.
Oh, war zone battle.
It is not Murder at 1600. That's enough strikes. It's The Art of War.
Art of War.
Oh.
Come on, Dave. They're only going to get harder.
God, they're only getting harder. Jeez, man.
Okay, did anyone get that one?
That's Nowhere to Run.
I don't think anybody got that one. And Eric already guessed Nowhere to Run.
Oh, that was quick.
I've seen every Van Damme movie like 100 times. So.
They're good. They're good movies. Well, they're entertaining movies. Let's say that. All right, let's keep it going.
Oh, Van Damme.
Oh, Van Damme. Look at that blowing blood bubbles.
It is not Death Warrant.
I don't even. The only Van Damme movie I remember is Bloodsport.
We're getting nowhere.
Look up Van Damme filmography.
Wait, you looking up the filmography?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna see if I can figure it out.
What was your vote, Eric?
Nowhere to Run.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Good job.
Nowhere to run.
That is correct.
Yes.
That's a
Cheater.
You didn't even give Dave Murdoch a chance before you cheated.
Well, that's pretty impressive. He's riding a motorcycle and he's sweaty and has an unbuttoned shirt. And I was
This is how I picture you during the week, Macho.
Yes.
It's not far off of what normal job is. I'm embarrassed, but you know,
It's only gonna get harder, guys.
All right, here we go.
Oh. Dude, how do you even find all these weird like death scenes?
This is not a weird one. This is a very
That's all
popular
Mark
one.
does all day, every day.
All day.
Yes.
It is not Deadly Friend.
Wait, friend.
Oh, ding 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 ding.
Oh,
The hand that rocks the cradle.
and that rocks.
Oh, crap. I didn't give us a chance to vote. Sorry.
Oh well, it's okay.
My
You're
guess
so
was
entertaining to
wrong.
watch.
My guess was wrong.
I was gonna guess Flowers in the Attic
I thought it was Death
Just-
Becomes Her for a second.
because they fell out of an attic.
All right, no one got that one. That's okay. We'll keep going.
Yeah, nobody got it.
Cradle.
Nicely done.
Shuko, Papashango, and David
Kokushiko
Murdoch.
Kapashango. Oh, hold up. David
up.
Murdoch said it before that. Right above
Oh, yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, they both got
They
it.
did. Yeah, they both got it. Yeah, we're gonna give it to them.
Ooh.
It's not like we're mailing out $100 bills or anything. I mean, you know, you both
Well,
won.
you know, last week I
Congratulations.
offered a deck of cards, and
Hey.
and the Scotsman never gave me his an
Oh, he
address. to send it
didn't?
to.
Oh man, that's a bummer. So I'm batting 1,000 at this point. I'm really proud of myself. See if I can.
I
get
got
it.
one last week at least, and I'm nothing this
You
week.
did get one last week. That's proud of you. Mutt
thanks.
tried to claim one after the fact. Like, oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
That's one I knew, though. Give it to Dave.
That I
Did you know that one?
I did know that one.
He
Nonsense.
would do that. He would do that.
So here we go. Last video.
Last one, and I applaud anybody who gets this.
Go.
Whoa!
I remember this.
Wow, Mark, where did you even find this? So over the top.
Oh, Fortnite!
The only thing I saw was that really nice Series 1 Land Rover. That was the only thing that I could
Does
see.
anybody recognize that actor? Not him. Not Ergus Borgnine. The other one.
No, but he's so beautiful. We got to leave him up there.
Let's see the other actor. Oh, this is that's
That is Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say Brandon Lee. Crow.
It's a
This is-
crow. Crow in the desert. John Lance. That death was like the guy scorpioned on the hood, like where his feet were above his head, and then they ran him into a wall, and you just saw his bloody arm sticking out. It was amazing.
Get all the Mark DeCosta.
I got no guess on this one. It looks like an Australian movie, though, to me.
Stat saying rapid fire. He said laser mission. Cal's eating, so he has the sound off.
I didn't realize you guys couldn't hear me. Sorry. I said any guesses, and you guys immediately responded, so all right.
Good. Laser something, Kokushiko Papashango. We only had a few movies. Yeah, laser missions, what he's saying. Look, Mark Dacascos is on the screen, Cal. Your favorite.
Oh, yeah. That's when,
Yeah, let's see what it is.
what's his name?
Is Stat Zero right? Laser Mission.
Oscars movies instead. They're all good.
So
It was a great
I
story.
have no
loved
idea
it.
who this is. The chat's not saying anything, so I think you should tell us.
You're all stumped. It is his very first movie. It is called Laser Mission.
Yeah.
Laser Mission.
Wow, so who got that?
I'll have to put that on the watch list. Stat, basically.
Look at my face right there.
That's a good clip. It's a good clip.
Like, no, I wouldn't have been able to put those two words together to like even guess it.
Laser Mission.
Laser Mission.
That's like they were planning a title. They're like, just give me 2 words. So just 2 words.
Like, this looked like it's the early 90s. So what's cool? Lasers. What should they be doing? I don't know. They're on a task. Laser task.
Ooh, Laser Task would have been a cool name.
It's almost laser tag. It's
oh yeah.
Laser Mission.
All right, and that everybody was named.
All
it's
right.
just like me watching old videos of us. It's probably not super exciting for everybody, but it was very funny for me.
I was entertained.
Me too.
Thoroughly.
It is. I think it's good that we show those reruns sometimes because it shows Mark's awesome
His editing
skills.
And it's amazing content filler for when you're not prepared.
That's absolutely. And everybody, if you want to catch up on some of those videos, we have a bunch that Mark has already done, and they're hilarious because he's great at editing. So, but that was Named That Death, the rerun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to give it to Stat tonight. He's sick, and he answered more. I think did he get more than one? He only can get one. I don't know. You know what? Stat's the winner. That's it.
What is called Stat the winner?
Calling Stat the winner. He's the winner in our hearts. Anyway, that was Name That Death. So once again, everybody, like on tonight, but we got Name That Death. The next thing, let's see going to sleep.
All right.
Have a great night, Stat.
Good night.
Feel
Good
better,
night.
buddy. Seems like everybody's getting everybody's like sick or losing their voice or something. I tell you what, before we move on to top that, we should let Eric talk about his project. How's that sound?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Hold on.
Let's do it.
Well, we have some people that are potentially still watching, and I was gonna see if sometimes you can usually tell the nights that there's a bunch of other people streaming because our chat just goes like it just depletes to literally nothing. So we got a few guys watching tonight, but a lot of people do watch the rerun. So that's good.
Awesome. So this is Enter the Cromverse. This is a project being put together by a bunch of people. The Madness, Pop Sam Van, he's basically just kind of here to provide the Crom character. And there's it's supposed to be a 200-page book when it's all done. So there's a lot of creators involved in this.
200 pages. Dang.
Jim O'Reilly did a cover for it. I did a cover for it. So all of the stories involved have to have this little Crom character of Pops's. And
okay.
That was pretty much the only, we just had to pitch a story involving this character. And if he gave it the thumbs up, it was good to go. So for my part, I'm doing a Dreaded Dinosaur Man story. And one of the reasons I'm really passionate about this is because it kicked my butt to finally do something with this character other than working on the webtoon here and there when I have time. Because I'm a busy guy. I've got a bunch of paid gigs going on. I'm working on a British Bulldog comic book, the follow-up to our Roddy Piper book.
Oh, cool.
And a bunch of other stuff, Darren McCarty bio book, and of course all my wrestling art and some anime stuff as well. With the conventions coming up, I'm pretty busy. But anyway, this gave me a chance to have a deadline, kick my own butt into a 12-page short story involving Dinosaur Man. And my friend Russ Leach, Only Death Can Save Us, was kind enough to loan me one of his demons from his story. So in my 12-page Dinosaur Man story, there's this mysterious wrecked ship, the Dinosaur Man and Telexis, the girl, and Spaz the cat kind of find. They're kind of scavengers. They wander the outlands of the planet of Tanalorn, and this is kind of a side quest for them. And this ship is this wreck is kind of mysterious, and he finds this gem, and he gets sucked into the world of Crom, who's kind of like this Mr. Mitsoplex type character in my universe, and he has to fight the demon from Death Can Save Us, and only one of them is allowed to win. And so it's a battle to the death. There's an interesting. We have a drawn-in tier, so everybody offered a scene, at least one panel where somebody could be drawn in. I've got like 6 different places where a person's going to get drawn into this. So hopefully,
Oh, nice.
So hopefully, it'll be a chick. We're hoping for that because it's a slave situation. We got to do slave girl stuff. But if it's a hairy bearded dude, so be it. They'll just be in a slave bikini. So
That's hilarious.
It's a great way to introduce Dreaded Dinosaur Man to a bunch of people, to an audience. Like Ethan says, we're all hot dog salesmen. I want to sell my Dinosaur Man hot dogs to Pops's, people, because they need content. So so that's my pitch.
Very cool.
Awesome.
I was looking to see. So it looks like Brian Christgau is going to be involved. I was looking to see who else. Pops,
Here,
obviously.
I'll just go.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Indiegogo.
I think Muttman's involved in this too.
Vic King is involved. Is he? That's cool. I was gonna say Russ Leach is awesome too.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy.
He's great. He's great.
He's been offline a lot working on a top secret awesomeness, but
that's cool, man. And there's a crazy array of like tiers. There's you can get hand painted, looks like Vans. Like shoes.
Yeah, the shoes are legit. Like this guy does this for a living, and they're pretty sweet looking shoes.
It's crazy because so there's I'm looking and there's a Punisher shoe, and it's that I think it's a Mike Mignola cover that he's replicated on the side of the shoe. It's really cool. There's a crocheted Crom. There's a Jim O'Reilly Crom bust that's like sculpted. There's crazy blacklight Crom kind of tapestry deal. It's hilarious that he's gone. So is Pops the one who's kind of in charge of this?
No, he's not really in charge of it. He just kind of approves the Crom involvement.
Okay.
And he's been the main pitch guy.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I knew Crom was like his character, I believe, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, got it. But it's kind of cool. Whoever was, I don't know if it was you or you're just having involvement, but whoever thought of it really, threw everything at the wall. I kind of like projects like that where you're, just see what sticks, have a lot of interesting tiers, something for everybody. Is pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. I think the crocheted Croms are actually sold out, but
yeah, they are.
We still got a ways to go. The ask is $8,000 on this. There's 19 days. It's at 2, so it's a bit of an uphill climb, but we're just trying to get as many eyeballs on this as possible. If this doesn't fund, I'm still going to have a plan for the story because I love the story too much. And
that's cool.
Really awesome. So I don't know if anybody remembered, if you guys were in the chat with one of Ethan's shows probably 3 weeks ago, there was a guy who came out of nowhere and he did a cyber frog, and Ethan picked it out of Twitter and was like, oh yeah, this is great. His handle is at Big Boy Robo, I believe. I apologize if I get that wrong. But anyway, so a bunch of us went and followed him, and I believe he's in the Philippines, but he's a CGer through and through. And this is it was kind of cool because his artwork just kind of showed up in my feed, and I was in a time crunch here. I was trying to work on these pages, and like between doing the British Bulldog book, what I got to do on the McCarty book. In May, I'm supposed to start up working on American Bliss again for Dave for Genuine Comics. So I'm really crunched for time, and I decided, you know what? This is the first time I want to do this right. I'm going to hire a colorist. And this guy came up in my feed. I saw his style. I loved it. It had a really nice anime influence to it, and I just pitched him the idea. Here's my budget. Will you do it? And his work has been absolutely out of sight. I want to share these pages. So my first hire here. Here's so yeah, this is page 1 with this crazy wreck. That is Dinosaur Man. This is Telexis, the slave girl warrior, and Spaz, Dinosaur Man's little cat person companion here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he does good work.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely gorgeous. I provided him with flats in the colors that I want everything to be, and everything comes from a Copic color palette. That's the exclusive color palette I do all of my work in, and so I already had the primary basic colors picked out, and he just went to town on this, and pretty good.
So is and forgive me, I'm just curious about Dinosaur Man in general. So he's I don't mean to like sound ignorant about it, but kind of like He-Man, a little He-Man, a little
oh yeah.
like
no, see this is a well, Michael Odin, he's a dear sweet friend of mine, and he put it perfectly because I showed him the webtoon, and he's like, this reminds me of playing with my toys on Saturday morning.
Yeah, right.
And so that's what that's what this is kind of my love letter to everything that, we're all about the same age. We all grew up with Thundercats, He-Man, Gem and the Holograms, the Centurions, Inhumanoids, whatever.
Centurions.
And so I pull from a lot of that and I make it my own. And so that's where this character came from. The actual name of the character, Dinosaur Man, actually comes from one thing of my bully back in high school used to call me that. He wasn't a bright person, so his reasoning was, "You like dinosaurs, right? You a dinosaur man?" And he used to piss me off so much because I was a teenager. Everything pissed you off back then. But you know what? It's like it created the perfect character, so I'm grateful for it.
That's cool, Dinosaur Man. Yeah, like it's Spaz the cat is very like Orko or the Snarf from
Snarf.
Yep. He's like the perfect kind of little sidekick comedy foil for the comic. That's cool. I dig it.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is a sequence where Dinosaur Man disappears into Crom's universe, and so they're kind of like left there stunned. And I definitely here's like inside the universe. I did a lot of cool stuff with some Kirby Crackle. And
the Kirby Crackle's awesome.
This is where your drawn-in character can be. You can be, subjected to this little gremlin.
Oh man.
I will tell you from experience that 100% of people who do drawn-in are men.
Yeah,
right.
We did that for the Roddy Piper, and legit everybody who sent in a photo for that was a bearded dude.
Yeah.
So I basically had to draw. I drew the same drawing over and over again.
I did have two actually. I had one woman, and then one couple. So
weird.
Josh, the amazing animator. And his wife are in like everything. So they're in Shinobi Sasquatch eventually.
That's
awesome.
And then what is her name? She's gonna kill me. Don't watch this.
Just say you like pineapple pizza. It's all good.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, no. I'm thinking of the lady who got drawn in all on her own. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So my point is, it was mostly men, but hopefully you'll get some ladies getting that tier for you.
You know who would be perfect for this this like slave girl situation is Septinov, 7 of 9. That guy's in everything. He's in literally every. If I feel like I need to tell him about it because he would probably do it. He's in every comic. I think every CG property has Septinov somewhere in there.
That's hilarious.
This is
the last page I want to share. I just got this back from the colorist today.
I like that.
This is the demon from Only Death Can Save Us. If you have that book, it's the dog catcher guy, the guy with the little demon dog.
Okay.
That's who this is. So
that's cool, man. I like the colorist, his shading and everything is great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah. I'm super thrilled. I can't wait for this to be done. It's one of the reasons why I really want this thing to fund, so people can see my work, see his work, and get it out there. But if it doesn't, I'm going to find something else for this because I'm trying to help promote him too because he's just starting out. This is his first job in CG. Doing color work for me, and he's been incredibly great to work with.
Well, you guys should
So,
definitely keep working together because this does have like that 80s Saturday morning cartoon feel to it
I know, right?
in a really good way. I think
Yeah.
you guys should keep this style and keep doing stuff like this. And if it doesn't catch on right away, it will.
Well, I'm working on a
Yeah.
32-page book because the whole thing with the Dinosaur Man is I do the webtoon. That's your base point. That's your ground zero to come in. It's like your weekly series. And the graphic novels I'm doing are like the movie version of that. You know, like how, like when we were kids, the TV show would lead up to the movie, and you're like, oh yeah, the movie. That's my plan for this. So everybody, you know, you get the movie, you get the book, you check it out, and then the story will pick up on the webtoon when it comes off. You know, so you're kind of always in the loop. And so anybody who follows both the webtoon and does the books is going to have more knowledge of the world building that I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the webtoon, the dreaded Dinosaur Man. It looks this is awesome.
Webtoon's a fun format, isn't it?
I love it.
It
I love
is,
the vertical
cool.
scrolling. It's perfect for, you know, we have a new civilization now that is used to doing this.
Yeah,
they do this all damn day. So why not do this to read comics? It just makes sense. I always hated Comixology and any of those others. It was like tap a panel, zoom, turn your damn, you know. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's annoying. I love webtoons. I did webtoons with an artist friend of mine until he disowned me for being a Trump fan. But now I'm hoping we can make up eventually because now that everything I was telling him is turning out to be like in the mainstream news for some reason. Anyway.
I'd say about like 40% of my liberal friends are actually, we missed the ball on that. The rest of them just silence, dead silence.
It's crazy, right? The cognitive dissonance is insane. But this is a guy, he was my best friend for 20 years. I love him, and I would love to be friends with him again. So hopefully he'll see some of this. Oh, Hunter Biden's laptop is real. Oh, the Russian, like Hillary Clinton is being sued for the,
sometimes you just gotta drop the politics and love the person as they are anyway.
Yeah, you got to. Hey, speaking of politics, real quick, anybody excited that Trump's gonna get back on Twitter because Elon's gonna make him let him back in?
Well, we don't know for sure, but if he does, I'll be happy.
I know. It's just I mean, the other day when that kind of news headline broke, I thought that was the funniest thing ever. And Elon is a genius because my wife was telling me if he bought 9.2% of the stock, right? And if he went to 10%, he would have had such a majority of the stake that him telling them to do certain things would have been considered like insider trading or something like that. So he bought just enough to have control and kind of put pressure on them to do what he wants, but not enough to get in trouble for it. Like the guy.
That's funny.
It's really funny. She read some article about it. I thought it was great. So anyway.
Yeah, the next two largest shareholders are Vanguard and BlackRock.
Okay. And do you know what their stake is? Any idea?
I believe it's about 10-15%, I think.
Okay.
So it's pretty crazy high because they're controlling the narrative.
Yep.
But I tell you what, when that news broke, I immediately went to my Webull account and I bought Twitter, and I'm up 12%. So.
Oh wow, that's smart. I should have done that too. Yeah, I heard that he's already made $1 billion on the deal.
Oh, I bet he has. I bet he has made $1 billion.
And he could, and if he sold, he would kill the Twitter company now.
Oh yeah,
actually kill them.
That's why he's on the board immediately. He's like, "Hey, I'm on the board." Like, yeah, you're on the board.
Yeah. But the guy, what is his name? Pinja. I can't. I'm terrible. I apologize for screwing that name up.
No worries.
That guy's like, "Yeah, you're on the board. Come over here." And then everybody else is quitting.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've seen at least 4 or 5 tweets from people that are like, "I'm quitting. I'm in protest."
I know, it's like, don't let the door hit you. I mean, you're the problem, so we're okay with that.
Elon's great. I love him a lot. I think I want to do an art piece just to like I do with my wrestling stuff for Elon Musk and see if I can make money with that. But
yeah, that's a good idea.
His goal is everything is trying to get us off this planet. So everything he's doing is towards that goal of going to Mars. You know, he's a futurist. We haven't had a futurist in mainstream culture for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, they were the ones that planned the World's Fair, and you know, you'd have a robot doing everything for you by now, and flying
Right.
cars.
Yeah, the last one I could think of that I like I knew their name was Ray Kurzweil, Kurzweil, how you say it. He's a transhumanist though, but definitely a
Yeah.
futurist. Like, but like that was like 10, 15 years ago where I was hearing about him, you know, and so it's been, you know, he's one of those guys talking about the singularity where
Mhm.
humanity evolves to the point where we're, you know, like where we've transcended our flesh and, you know, we've become androids and stuff. It was really weird back in the day. Now it's not so weird anymore.
No,
It's-
I,
yeah.
I would not do Neuralink, but I definitely would like to have a robot hand before I die. You know, 'cause I got these disabled hands. I'm like, you know, chop this left one off and give me a claw hook like a battle android trooper, and I will be happy.
Dude, having a robot hand would be cool enough, but being able to detach it and put something else on there, oh my god, like Trapjaw from He-Man.
Oh,
my
yeah.
Dude, that was one of my favorite toys because you could take it off and put another one on. Oh my gosh.
Heck yeah. That's why the battle android trooper is like my favorite GI Joe. I've got like 4 or 5 of them on the shelf.
Oh yeah,
there.
That's cool.
Well, dude, I mean that's
So-
that's it would be cool to like I'm gonna be rooting for you to get one of those robot hands because I want to know someone who has a robot hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's awesome though too, Eric. I was gonna say that's awesome too though. Like you have you know, you're just showing your hands and you got that disability, but man, you're like putting out some awesome art. Are you doing like are you drawing digitally, or what's like your method of choice? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I got my 22-inch Wacom here, which was my gift to myself for the first coloring job I was ever hired to do. That was like years ago.
Nice.
And this thing's a workhorse. It still serves me well. And then the
used the Wacom for a long time.
Yeah, and almost the entirety of the Roddy Piper comic book was drawn on my iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil. So
great,
dude, that the Pro is no joke, man. I wish I had one of those.
I think that's what Mutt's drawn on now.
Yeah.
I think it's what Mutt's drawn on now too. He's been practicing, and I tell you what, like the art coming off of those things looks great. But I gotta say, like I'm impressed with like what you know, like you probably had a hard time getting into art because of that, and you know, art was something I guess that speaks to you, and you just like persevered and got into that. I think it's really super cool.
I've been drawing ever since I was a child, and I went to art school, and during my tenure at art school, I started getting sick, started blacking out a lot, and I got this condition called Raynaud's phenomenon that developed out of nowhere, where if you catch a chill, your body thinks you're freezing to death, so it draws all your blood into your core to protect your heart.
What? That's
so
crazy.
Your hands start to turn white or blue depending on if there's oxygen in your blood or if there's no circulation whatsoever. You get gangrenous tissue death. So yeah, I can remember working in my first job at a graphic design studio. I had like almost all my fingers bandaged up from these sores.
Oh my god!
I had to give up weightlifting because like too much pressure would cause the sores to trigger as well. And my doctors couldn't tell me why I had this, only that I did have it. And it wasn't until about 2.5 years later, I was working at Starbucks. I got myself some health benefits, finally got a doctor here in Michigan. And he looked at me, he's like, yep, that's scleroderma. I'm like, what? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And yeah, it's an autoimmune disease. It causes hardness in the skin, hardness in connective tissues. There's a whole bunch of different, it's basically like it's like a Marvel team up of diseases.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh no.
A lot of us that have scleroderma get misdiagnosed as lupus or Lyme disease or something else because it can look like a lot of different ones because there's a lot of different components to it. So
sure.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of part of my life story.
Is it under control now? Like how do you deal with it?
What's that?
Is it under control now? Like, is there a way to deal with it now that you know what it is?
For the most part, I've long since plateaued. Like my hands haven't gotten worse for about a decade. I'm on some medication called methyltrexate now for the rheumatological pain that I'm in, and that's done wonders. I also chew gummies and pour myself a glass of whiskey now and then. And you know, it's I've been very blessed. You know, one of the most powerful things about my story is that I can remember having these swords in my hands, and I'm a Christian, I'm a man of faith, and I cried out to God, please don't take my hands. This is all I've got.
Yeah.
And he took my hands, and I'm a better artist now than I've ever been before in my life. So,
well, I'm inspired, and with Macho, I just commend you, because I'm a guy who, like, I wanted to be an artist. Like when I was younger, that I wanted to do all things. Like I remember, I still have like old comic books that I was making where I'd basically draw pictures and like write the story in afterwards, But I didn't have the stick-to-itiveness to like become a good artist. So now I'm just a writer, which is super easy. No, I mean it's hard. It's hard in its own ways. A lot more reading, and they have their different like difficulties, but being an artist, I just didn't have I just didn't have the perseverance.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Here's the thing. One of the things that I do is that I've got something in, like, I've been working on a curriculum that I developed back in about 2009. I did some teaching for a while. I got my teaching certificate, and so I had to develop a curriculum for inner city kids that were required to take art classes, because this was a creative art college. It was a not a private school, but the other type of alternative school,
like a charter,
like a charter school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a public charter school sponsored
Yeah.
by College for Creative Studies, where I graduated. Anyway, so I had a bunch of kids in my class that were sixth graders who didn't want to be there, had to think of a way to teach them this. And so my entire philosophy of teaching art is teaching it as a visual language. We're not, I call art a 4-letter word because it immediately, for normies, as we call them, they get images of this New York City money laundering crap that's like red painted on a square, and it sells for $40 million or some shit.
Yeah.
And that breaks a lot of people into thinking that they don't understand it, they can't, so they don't. They get that I can't stuck in their head. But drawing as its core is a universal language, just like mathematics. So it can be taught like you would teach English, like you would teach literature.
Right.
There are mental and physical tools, just like you need as a writer. And I tell students in my classes, and when I do conventions, I'll do panels on this, short panels on this, and I'll tell them, everybody in here, I assume, can write. How many of you can write a novel? Well, guess what? You can also draw, but you got to put the work in if you want to do the masterpiece.
Right.
Yep.
And that's kind of the foundation where we get everybody on the level playing field. And I tell them, look, the way that you test yourself is you show your drawing to somebody else. If they can read that, it's successful. No matter how simplistic it is. One of my good friends, Matt Fazell, he's made a career out of drawing stick figures. If you can communicate something clearly through your drawing, you can give yourself an A on it. And then it's just the rest of it is putting in the 10,000 hours to become proficient and develop your style, develop your craft. But communication is step one.
That's good, man. I'm inspired. I think I'm going to start learning how to draw, so I can
do it.
I have to hire artists anymore.
And you can send me your progress, and I will gladly take a red pencil and mark it up for you.
Okay, never mind. Just kidding. See, the funny thing is, like, I am a master at taking criticism. There's nothing precious to me in my writing. Like if I send you a script and you just red mark the whole thing, I'll take that and I'll make it into an amazing script, because I came up in you know what Comics Experience is? It's a peer review comic site founded by Andy Schmidt. And
is that like the old digital webbing days? Do you guys remember digital webbing? It was like a forum for comic artists back in early days of the internet.
Well, it's probably similar, but it's a paid service. I think it's like $30 a month when I was doing it. And the draw is there are comic pros, because the guy who started it he's an editor. He's worked with DC, Marvel, everybody. And so like when I was there, Chuck Dixon was one of the guys prowling around the forums.
That's cool.
Colin Bunn, who is a comic writer.
Sweet.
But yeah, like there were like a bunch of pros who would kind of like, they'd hang out in the forums, and they all, everybody's work was kind of not guaranteed, but pretty much everyone would get a pro critique. But the real draw was like you get peer critique or peer review of your script or your art or whatever it is that you're there for. And so that like I went into that thinking I was freaking amazing. I'm like, man, I'm such a good writer. I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna blow everyone's socks off. And my first script, no one would even look at. I mean, I was there for 2-3 weeks. No one would no one would even touch it. So if I like put a post out, I'm like, will somebody like look at my like what is going on here? And look, so I had a nice guy who was like, okay, I'll critique it. Here you go. And it was just brutal. I mean, it just freaking butchered my script. But I took that critique, and instead of being like, well, he just doesn't understand me, I took it and I just turned it around. And anyone can do that. That's the thing is you have to just distance yourself from your art or from your writing and realize that what you're doing, if you're early on, it's probably not good. Chances are it's not good.
But I think too, like that's a secret to successful people is being able to take criticism and turn it around and do better with it. Like I really think successful people are people that can take criticism well and use it to better themselves for sure.
You have to be able to pivot in this business because if you're trying to create something, you need to know what kind of legs it has. You need to know what your audience thinks of it. You really, it can't be your baby. It has to be a product.
Yeah.
You know, you have to look at it as a product because everybody thinks they have a beautiful baby and people hate being told they have an ugly baby.
Yeah.
But you know what? Some of the stuff that's out here, it really shouldn't be in print because it's shit.
Yeah.
And the free market is what tells us this. So if your thing is not selling and you're doing your due diligence, maybe it's the thing, not, you can do everything right, but if it's shit, it's still shit.
Yeah. Can't polish a turd.
No.
Stop barking, dummy. Oh my gosh.
The dog knows I'm right.
Well, speaking of polishing a turd, I think we should move on to our next our next segment, and that is Top That. What do you think?
I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody says sure. I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
Hold on.
You just put cookies into a cup, pour milk over it, and you smush it up.
I need to pump up my high tops. Hold on.
Okay.
There we go.
My wife was asking me. My daughter wants cookie soup. And cookie soup is a tradition in my family where you just put a bunch of cookies in a cup, pour milk in it, you mash it up, and you eat it like soup. My wife was like, "Honey, Emma wants cookie soup. How do you make it?" I'm like, just put cookies in a cup, pour milk on, you mash it up.
Mash it up. That's such a weird thing. What kind of cookies does she like?
Well,
what kind of cookie soup?
Oreos are great because you want to get that balance between like the crunchiness that kind of gets softened and then the something that's already mushy, right? Like the cream of Oreos. But I love like crispy chocolate chip cookies, like not the chewy ones because it's just
like Famous Amos.
Chewy. Yeah,
Famous
those are
Amos
perfect because you get the cookie, but you also have the chocolate chips in there that kind of have like that. Anyway.
That's such a weird thing, Cal. Like that is such a.
It is so strange. I know.
It's so strange, but I'm gonna have to try some cookie soup one night.
I grew up with homemade candy bars because we were dirt ass poor, so it was a saltine cracker, peanut butter, and brown sugar, and that was it.
What? All right, homemade candy bars. All right. I did. So for me, it was. It was cinnamon toast. You put butter on, on white bread and a lot of cinnamon and a lot of sugar, and you cook it in the like toaster oven or whatever.
Eat that all day.
That was me.
So she probably gone by now, but we our one female, whoever tunes in when it's not wrestling.
Yeah.
Hi, Amanda. Everyone else, if they're female, they might tune in for the wrestling, but we don't get them for the regular show. So Amanda is a pearl. So thank you for
she does. She
in.
hangs out. Amanda's great.
Even if it was just for
she's here.
Oh my gosh!
Yes,
it's a miracle.
Amanda's
awesome. Still here.
Thank you, Amanda. Well,
hi Amanda. Follow me on Twitter.
Yep, absolutely. follow Eric here. Maybe if doing laundry, right on.
I did that today. Oh, it's up there.
So we're gonna start Top That. Cal, tell us what Top That is.
I will. Top that is America's #1 story pitch game show. Last week we chose a story premise, a genre, and a writing prompt, and that's what we do every week. And Macho and I have had an entire week to write a pitch. I wrote mine a couple days ago, rewrote it again today, and then wrote it 2 more times today.
I did it about an hour before the show, as usual.
I
Anyway,
got a message from 6 a.m. and I had about 20 minutes. So.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Perfect.
So if I don't win, there's something wrong with me as a writer. No, but generally it's generally Mark chooses the winner, and he chooses arbitrarily, and it's generally based on whether or not he's offended by you in some way, or whether you kind of kissed his butt in another way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've got 2 minutes to pitch. If you break the 2-minute mark, something happens, and that thing is and you don't want that to happen to you.
Right.
No.
So I practiced mine today. I always practice to make sure 2 minutes, but we each get 2 minutes. We pitch, and then I guess chat's gonna have to choose a winner tonight. So Amanda, I guess that's you. No one else has chimed in since Sat left, and that was 30 minutes ago. So.
He let the air out of the room.
Whatever. It's okay.
So sad.
All right. So I guess we need to decide who goes first.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper,
yeah, let's
scissors.
do it. That's a good idea, man. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh.
I can only choose rock, guys. Come on.
All right.
Gosh.
How about Eric goes?
He played a prank on me.
I was wondering if he was joking or not, and I was like, well, Cal was like, let's do it, and I was like,
I love a good game of rock, paper, scissors. So I'm sorry. That's
okay. Let's let Eric go first if he's okay. You want to go
All
first,
right.
Eric?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna pull my timer up. I'm gonna spotlight you. Timer. Gotta change it. Okay, there we go. 2 minutes. Spotlight. Okay, dreaded dinosaur. Your 2 minutes starts.
When Judy and Thomas began to plan their wedding, they tried to plan for everything. What if it rains? How do we address your cousin's peanut allergy? Can our dog be a ring bearer? But what they didn't plan on was a wedding planner from hell, literally. Now Tom must prove his love for Judy and awaken Azeroth by defeating a snake-haired Gorgon named Karen, who'd love to tear this couple apart. Also, literally. 32 pages of pulse-pounding action await you. Will Tom and Judy's marriage go off without a hitch? Or will it be on the rocks with Tom turned to stone?
All right.
Oh my gosh, good job. You still have 1 minute and 15 seconds left.
And that was like a legit pitch. A lot of times we just are like tell a part of the story.
Yeah.
Which is like what mine is tonight. I try to make it like a legit pitch, but mine is not great tonight. So
I tried to do a poem.
A poem?
I thought I'd do something different. Well, because I was listening to some Lovecraft earlier, and one of his poems popped up, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll do like something really crazy and make this story pitch a poem. But no.
Be concise. Make it a haiku.
Haiku. There you go.
We should do haikus
Macho,
one night.
Me or you, buddy?
I don't care. We should save the best for last, which will be you.
No, I don't think so. Chat, all of one of you, Amanda. Where do you think she go next? Anybody? She's doing laundry, so she might be folding a shirt or something right now. But
I know we have like I don't know why. There's like literally no one. Oh, I bet somebody.
It's because Mark's not here.
Yeah,
and
right.
Because every other single
literally
person in Comic State is streaming right now.
Every person is streaming right
every
now.
Tuesday. When we started, we were like one of 2 shows on Tuesday night, and then now every freaking person.
Yeah, it's true.
It's really freaking annoying.
There's so
okay,
many,
I'll go.
There's so many streams. Somebody start fishing.
And yeah, it's
okay.
Chester, Ethan, Gary Shipman. Who else is on?
Probably Fraga.
Yeah, I don't have his. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's so many people on right now. All good. All good.
All right. Well, we have to tonight, guys. This is going to be really difficult. We're going to have to choose the three of us need to choose which one of us is the winner. So that's
I
really
want to hear
difficult.
what Macho has to say because he hasn't said a lot in the last 20 minutes. So, go,
Okay.
All right, I'm
Macho.
gonna let Macho.
Catch.
You go. All
Okay,
right.
fine.
So Macho Dan, with no space between them, your 2 minutes starts now.
Lilith hated weddings. She hated love and marriage and rom-coms. Love was overrated, but when you own a wedding planning business, it kind of comes with the territory. Life used to be all butterflies and rainbows. Daddy paid for one of his lawyers to set Lilith up with her very own business, her wedding planning business. She met her dream guy, Chad, who swept her off her feet, and life was going according to plan. That was until she found Chad sleeping with her assistant, Gina. Love was over for Lilith. Chad crossed the line, and if she couldn't have him, nobody would. Lilith started researching voodoo, and that led to black magic, and then a deep dive into myth and the occult ritual. She planned weddings by day, and by night, she planned revenge. Lilith planned her summoning just like a wedding ceremony, except instead of hors d'oeuvres and cake, she would be serving Chad up to whatever she summoned. Every detail was executed with care, and when the gateway to the ether finally opened, she was not prepared for what emerged. It had tentacles and eyes. It was a grotesque horror. Chad screamed like the coward he was, but Lilith was not afraid. She was a wedding planner, and she did her research, and that meant she had an answer for everything. That was 2 years ago. Lilith still plans weddings by day, but by night she lets her pets out to feast on the Chads of the world. This is kind of a Dexter meets The Wedding Planner, as you can see in the image Cal had, with Jennifer Lopez. It is a comedy horror adventure, and that is all I got. That's it. Comedy horror
Thing,
adventure.
you only had 12 seconds left. So
Top
good thing
that.
for you.
Top that.
That was good. Good.
Oh, Kokoshuko says he'll choose.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Kokochuko.
Coco, he or she, I don't know.
It's a he.
Thank you.
Wait. Oh crap. I've always assumed it was a he because
Right.
really, aside from Amanda, no other women tune into our group.
But we don't know.
You can't assume. You make an
You
ass
can't
out of you and
assume.
me.
We
That's
should
right.
do a ladies' night. Every
Ladies' night.
Tuesday. Every Tuesday is ladies' night at Breaking Around. Half
Anyway.
price drinks.
Lady night.
Macho, when you were pitching this, I had this going.
Looking over my shoulder. Macho was looking over my shoulder. Oh no!
Because just the very beginning is so similar, but it
Okay.
veers off very, very quickly after that. But
I'm a system.
Wait. Okay. What am I looking for? Oh, music. I was gonna see if there's any creepy music to play during mine.
Yeah, so mine, I was trying. I wanted to write it, like wrap it up as a pitch, but I got too deep into it and didn't know how to do it, and only had a couple minutes, so I just left it as it was.
There's nothing creepy in this mix. Come on, someone write to StreamYard and tell them to put creepy music in their background music. Okay, well, I'm gonna move on over to me, and gotta get my Arnie ready in case I go over 2 minutes.
You better. I'm gonna time you.
Spotlight myself. Don't worry, I'm a very principled man. Okay. H.P. Jameson. Your 2 minutes starts now. Gloria hated love. She hadn't always, but recent events in her life had sullied the word to such a degree that she no longer wished to find it, share it with anyone, or help anyone else commemorate it. The problem was that Gloria was a wedding planner, and her next project was her best friend Linda's. Before long, the seed of resentment for her work blossomed into a hatred of anyone and everyone who had fallen under the bewitching influence of that great deceiver called love, offending and alienating her oldest friend in the process. It was during this time that Gloria happened upon that old tome while browsing at her favorite antique dealer. The shopkeeper hadn't recalled even owning the thing, and she seemed so enamored with it that he gifted it to her. The vernacular and style of writing were archaic and nigh unreadable to a modern woman such as herself, but the book drew her in. Something about it was horrifyingly alluring. Though it seemed nothing more than a collection of obscure myths filled with monsters and gods, she always felt inexplicably dirty reading it, like she was somehow consuming the creatures within its pages as her mind took in the words. But it also thrilled her to the bone and was apparently helping her cope with her job, so she kept reading. One day, Gloria called Linda out of the blue to make amends. She was sorry for how she treated her and was already in the process of planning the most perfect ceremony for Linda and her fiance. When the day finally came, Gloria took Linda by the hand to lead her and show her what she had done. Only it wasn't Gloria under her friend's skin. Some things were writhing beneath, within her fingers, her palm, like worms or snakes or tentacles. And looking around, it was no wedding that the thing that was once Gloria had planned. That's it.
How many seconds did you have left?
2.
2 seconds. I was
2
gonna say,
seconds left.
that was close.
I drew
All
it
right.
out because when I tested it earlier, I had about 10 seconds left, so I drew it out a little bit, but
I
Okay.
really like the angle of having stuff writhing around under her skin. That was that drew me into it.
by the very end, thank you.
I can
I
see
know,
why
right?
you were like Macho's looking over my shoulder, because the very beginning was very similar.
Yeah, it was. When you said that, I was like, I don't know if you heard me. I was like, oh crap. But then they veer off quick.
Yeah,
So
sure.
what I tried to do. We can all take a minute to talk about our pitches because no one's really here to judge, but except Kokoshiko. I was listening to a lot of Lovecraft, and I was trying to write in that kind of. Usually, I write with a little bit of sarcasm. I tried to write really straight and almost boring. Because I don't know if you guys have read Lovecraft. It's
Mhm.
pretty boring until it's not, and then when it's
Yeah.
not, it's like, oh man. So that's I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this. So I wrote it really kind of just like straightforward and like not super interesting, just kind of like matter of fact. And
Yeah.
then when she takes her hand and things are writhing underneath her skin, it's not her anymore. Like so that was my I think if I had more time, it would have been better. But yeah, that was where I was going with it.
All right. I gotta say thank you, Amanda B. Missed Eric's if he did one, but I'm going with Macho. That's right.
It's only because mine made her feel uncomfortable. And that's what Lovecraft should do. So I win. Cool.
Come on, you can't go wrong with a jilted lover who's turned to occult rituals to kill the Chads of the world. And
we need some Lovecraft fans in our chat because you're right. You guys both had better pitches to people who aren't Lovecraft fans, but to Lovecraft fans, okay.
Yes, Kokoshiko likes Macho's story too. Thank you.
Looks like Macho is the clear winner here.
Yes.
I do not accept. We need
2
some
out of 2
Lovecraft
viewers
fans in our
approve
chat.
Macho. 2 out of 2 viewers approve Macho. But it was I guess it was Lovecraftian. But you know what? Like, I don't know. I've not listened to any or haven't read any real Lovecraft, like his actual written stuff. Like, I don't know. I think I tried, but it is like you said, it's very boring, and I couldn't get past that boring part.
You gotta get past you do like, okay, some of his shorter stuff you could probably do just fine. Like he's got stuff that if you listen, like there's a YouTube channel called Horror Babble. Bookmark that. It's called Horror Babble.
Horror Babble. Okay.
Everything is read by a guy with this really great. I'll play it I'll play a little bit of it real quick.
Play one. Yeah. I still win though. Thank you, Amanda B. Thank you, Kokoshiko.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm gonna take my win. Have you ever listened to Lore before? It's a podcast.
Yeah, my wife is into that kind of stuff.
Lore is pretty good. I'm not even a very big horror guy, but Lore is pretty good. I like that.
I don't like real stuff. Like there's a guy called Mr. Ballin on YouTube. I like him. He kind of matter of factly shares like disturbing stories of reality, but generally it's got to be like fiction for me to really be into it.
Yeah, I don't. The real stuff for the things that people have actually done are kind of disturbing sometimes. I
Yeah,
hear
they're
it's
too disturbing.
yeah, so, and yeah, agreed.
Okay, I'm gonna
I really
go ahead.
like old radio shows, like the old X-1 and that type of stuff. There's a lot of really great golden age material, and when you get into it, you start to realize, oh, some of the stuff that I liked, modern stuff, just stole from this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
guarantee you they did.
Okay, so here we go.
You fool! Warren is dead.
That's the last line of the Lovecraft story, by the way. You fool! Warren is dead.
Welcome to Horror Babble. Today, we're pleased to present a re-recording of another Lovecraft classic, The Terrible Old Man.
Oh, I know this one.
Our first recording of the story was originally released in 2016, though now it only exists on the channel as part of our Lovecraft Shorts Volume 1 collection. We hope you enjoy this updated recording, folks. The Terrible Old Man by H.P. Lovecraft. It was the design of Angelo Ricci and Joe Zanek and Manuel Silva to call on the Terrible Old
Okay, so that's the gist.
Yeah.
He's got such a great voice for it. I love that intro line. You fool! Warren is dead. Like it just that's in the beginning of every one of their things, and I know why they did it because it's the last line of a Lovecraft story. But it showcases how good his voice is at emoting these horror stories. And it's not just Lovecraft; they do all kinds of horror stories. Most of it is public domain. I guess it would all be public domain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, good. Check out this channel, you guys. It's so good. Macho, if you're like kind of, like I don't want to invest time into reading Lovecraft because boring. Put one of these on in the background, just kind of like the boring stuff. Like pick one that's like 10 or 15 minutes and let the boring stuff kind of.
I'll definitely like if I'm doing work, if I'm working outside or cleaning up the house or whatever, I'll put podcasts and stuff like that on. This is something that I would maybe put on while I'm doing that.
Yeah, I actually put Horror Babble on to like if I know I'm gonna take a nap, I put it on and it like I know it's weird to put horror on.
That is
but to me it's like that's my happy place is horror. I know it's weird for people who aren't into horror.
Yeah.
But for me it's like not all horror. Like I couldn't put on Saw or something like that. That stuff, I don't like that. But like classic horror is so intriguing and like calming for me that I put it on when I'm like, I'm sitting here during the day and I'm like I feel a little tired. I'm taking a nap. I'll throw that on put it in my ear and I nod right off. But yeah, it's good stuff.
The classic stuff really engages your mind. It really gets your imagination working. Starts the wheels moving to try to solve the mystery because a lot of them have like a mystery built into why the monster is what it is. And actually, Macho, The Terrible Old Man, that's a really good story. That's a good first story to listen to for getting into Lovecraft. A friend of mine who's a filmmaker out in Missouri actually did a short film version of it. And I painted the movie poster for him for the premiere, and that's how I got acquainted with.
That's cool
with that story, and yeah, it's got a really cool twist ending to it that I think you'll appreciate.
I'll give it a shot because I like the weird mythos around Lovecraft and like his monsters and stuff like Cthulhu and whatever. I just never got into. I'm just not a big horror guy. I like horror light. Like I've listened to some what's his name Stephen King, stuff like that. Like he it's not like real like deep horror, or it's not like Saw or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but
that stuff is just jump scare.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Yeah, I don't like that kind of stuff.
And over the top gore just to make you go,
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never watched a Saw movie. I can't watch stuff like that.
Now, a true horror movie makes you uncomfortable in your own room in the dark.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A really good one of my favorite newer movies is The Babadook. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah, it's
Nah.
good.
Yeah, it's on
mixed, but yeah.
Netflix. It will psych you out
Nah,
psychologically.
Yeah.
It's
I
good
won't
stuff.
watch that. I won't watch that.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
a
on the
Saw-
side of people like the movies. I'm sure you know, Eric, but people are really divided on that movie. But I really liked Babadook. I thought it was, not only was it good and unsettling and scary in just the right way, but it did like kind of, I'm not big into preachy things, but like it did kind of like address, loss and dealing with loss and mental
Yeah.
illness and stuff in a way that you almost have to look for it, but it was good. It was really well done.
See, I like sci-fi horror. I think like Alien or Aliens. I always long said that was one of like the first. That was the movie that got me into comic books.
Oh,
So I love like sci-fi or like alien stuff like that.
dude, did you ever watch
That's a horror
Event
movie.
Horizon?
Aliens is a horror movie.
Oh, I
What's
love
that?
Event Horizon.
Oh yeah. Event Horizon's great.
Dude, that is Lovecraft
Yes.
through and through. I was
Very
listening to a Lovecraft
Lovecraftian.
story today that was pure sci-fi. It wasn't even really horror until like the end probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, Event Horizon is Lovecraft sci-fi.
Man, I haven't watched that
just
movie in
perfectly
forever.
done.
I need
It's
to
so
rewatch
good.
that movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah, Terrible Old Man is kind of like a Clint Eastwood movie if Clint Eastwood was like the devil.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to re-listen to that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I just started I did a subscription to Shudder and I've been kind of going through some of those.
Shudder. Yeah.
What is that Nicolas Cage movie, The Color of Space?
Color Out of Space.
Yeah, that is genuinely that's beautiful and creepy at the same time.
Much won't watch that because
no, I won't watch that one. He was telling me about that movie, and I was like, "That is off the table for me." No,
That to
I'm not
me,
into that.
I think I read the short story before I watched it, and that was such a faithful retelling of that story. Like they had to retell it for the modern era because I mean honestly, like everything back then is so foreign to us. Like when Lovecraft was writing stories, it's so foreign that like when they made Reanimator, they had to make it in the 80s or whatever because things are so different back when Lovecraft was writing. So I realized when they made Color Out of Space, they're like, well, let's make it modern day. So they had to, take some liberties to make it modern. But man, it was such a faithful retelling of that story. It was so good. And by the way, if you haven't seen it, Mandy, Eric, have you seen Mandy?
Yeah, Mandy was more disturbing than Color of Space for me. That one was just like, especially when he gets into like the hideout of where they're like keeping people. I'm like,
yeah.
That's why I don't like watching Seven.
Yeah. It was definitely like I think for Macho the body horror stuff and
that stuff.
Color Out of Space would be more disturbing. It's hard to look at. It really is. But overall, yeah, Mandy is a very disturbing movie, and it's almost Lovecraftian a little bit just because there's this mystery. Like, what is this religion? Like the weird church thing.
It's a little too close to House of a Thousand Corpses, which made me feel like a terrible person for watching. I was genuinely unhappy with myself as a human being for certain. Like this is not.
I never watched that.
This is not something my eyes should be seeing. No,
that was the Rob Zombie one, right?
Yes, that was Rob.
Okay,
Zombie.
yeah, I can't watch anything zombie because he has no conscience.
It's depravity for the sake of depravity, and that
just
no, sorry.
Yeah. To me, the person has to have, at least if they're modern, they have to have like some kind of moral, center. Like back in the day, like Lovecraft, read his writings, and it's not disturbing in a way that makes you think, oh man, this guy's a godless, piece of crap. Even though he was an atheist, but his writings didn't make me feel that way. But yeah, Rob Zombie stuff, it just seems like you said, it's depravity for the purpose of just being depraved. I'm not in for that.
There's a really good Sasquatch movie also on Shudder too. I think it's called like Monstrous or something, or Monster, or The Monster. And it does something that's really cool. Is it sets you up thinking the Sasquatch is the monster. But the Sasquatch isn't the monster in this story.
Wait, is that based on a Frank Peretti book?
I don't know. Maybe
I gotta look that up, because there's a So if you guys, I don't know if you guys read Christian fiction, but there's a Christian fiction. I'm gonna try that down a little bit. A Christian fiction author named Frank Peretti. He wrote a book called Monster, and it is about, like you're saying, Eric, it's about a Sasquatch, but then later in the book you realize the Sasquatch isn't the monster, there's something else going on. So it's interesting. I feel like it has to be, but I didn't know he was going to.
What was the name of the art? What was the name of the author, Cal?
It's Frank Peretti, and the book is also titled Monster, by the way. So it almost would have to be based on that. I don't know.
Let me look it up right quick. It won't take me a second.
Yeah, check it out. I'm trying to find out. What a coincidence, though, if it is not based on a Frank Peretti book, but it's the same premise.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's a separate thing.
Peretti.
So here's the premise. Reed Shelton organized this survival weekend, hired the best guide in the region, meticulously trained, studied, and packed, while encouraging his wife, Beck, to do the same. But little did they know that surviving the elements would become the least of their worries. During their first night of camping, an unearthly wail pierces the calm of the forest. Then something, emerges from the dense woods and begins pursuing them. Everything that follows is a blur to Reed, except for the unforgettable image of a huge creature carrying his wife into the darkness. Dependent on the efforts of a small town and a band of friends, Reed knows they have little time to find Beck. Even more important, he soon realizes that they aren't the only ones doing the hunting. Something much faster, more relentless, and definitely not human has begun to hunt them. Yeah,
Sounds
so
good.
it's so there's a Sasquatch. Sasquatches are in the story, but then there's like this lab, and there's like this weird hybrid monster that was created that kind of has gotten out, and that's the monster. So,
this is called Monstrous. It came out in 2020.
Oh, Monstrous.
Yeah, and the description is: after a young woman goes searching for answers after her friend mysteriously vanishes in Whitehall, New York, she quickly learns that hiding in the woods is an evil more sinister than she could ever imagine.
Well, okay, so it's not the same thing, but man, it is very similar. Wow.
Yeah, no, yeah, it flips the script on you because you think this is going to be about, like a giant Sasquatch killing these people, but there's a twist to it that I didn't see coming, and usually I'm pretty good at finding those things. Like, oh, this is pretty well, this deserves better than the stars that it has, because I thought it was a good twist.
I'll check that when I resub to Shudder. I'll check that out. I usually sub like a little before October, and I stay sub through like part of November, just so I can watch horror movies all throughout October for $5 or whatever it is, $6. Shudder's great. They have some really great original programming too.
Oh, if you like body horror, Blood Machines. Oh my gosh, that's an incredible,
Not me.
If you like synthwave, it's some of the best. Of course, it's Carpenter Blunt doing it, so it's like I listened to the soundtrack first. I'm like, I guess I have to see this. So that's the reason why I subbed to Shudder in the first place, so I could watch this Blood Machines. It's like a mini series. It's like 4 or 5 episodes, but it's a really interesting, almost like a really long music video.
Weird.
The music is tremendous. If you've got Spotify or iTunes, look up Blood Machines. It's some of the best synthwave I've ever heard.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
Blood Machines.
Giving me crap. How about this background music, though?
Yeah, they got this jamming.
I mean,
for our little chill session.
It's kind of cool because instead of just hearing silence when we're not talking or whatever. I
Yeah,
kinda dig
it fills the pregnant pauses.
Yeah.
Well, instead of talking about horror, continuing to talk about horror, let's talk about some comic books. You guys want to talk about comic books? All right,
Yeah.
hold on.
Well, why don't you guys start? I'll go ahead and roll up the next week's top dat stuff,
Okay.
and I'll put that on the banner while you guys are chatting.
All right, look, so none of mine are none of them are indie. Oh, one of them's kind of indie, I guess, maybe. Is it? No, it's not. But I just picked a bunch of random ones. I just started flipping through one of these short boxes, and typically what we do is 3 comics, maybe, Eric. I picked more than 3, technically. But I picked them this time based on art and nothing else. Cal will actually hate at least 2 of these comics.
Why is it Eric Larson?
No, I would never pick up an Eric Larson book if I could help it. But I picked these purely on art and not on who wrote them or anything like that. I picked it on because I thought the art is cool. So the first book or books is I picked We Stand on Guard. Have you guys seen We Stand on Guard? It's Brian K. Vaughan. And so the reason
let me spotlight you.
The reason I picked this is the art is ultra detailed. Let's see if I can find some for you.
So giant mech stuff.
Yeah, it's giant mechs. It's like if Canada created giant mechs, or maybe it's if the U.S. created giant mechs and tried to take over Canada. This guy's dropping the F-bomb on it. Superman's an MF and Canadian, man.
Is that Gary Busey?
It looks like Gary Busey, doesn't it? But there are these. It's just really cool. The art's super cool. I don't know. I like it. It's an interesting book. This is Image. Here's issue number 2. Only got a couple of them, but it's ultra detailed with all the little it has all the.
Nice.
It's just really cool. So Brian K. Vaughan is the artist. It's sweet. There's they're building mechs in this thing. Anyway, highly recommend it if you want some cool art. It's been out for a while now. Anyway, there's that. The next one I picked because of the artist too, and I like this artist. You guys will know him. This one is kind of a horror book, and it's really gross, but I'm okay with it because it's a comic and not a movie I'm watching. And it is Grizzly Shark.
Oh,
Ryan
sweet.
Otley.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever read Grizzly Shark?
I've seen that book. That's hilarious.
It's totally nasty and gory, but the art is cool. It's classic Otley art. Hold on, let me see if I can find it good.
So you've completely invalidated your reasoning for horror movies you don't like by picking up this comic book.
It's a Grizzly Shark.
I know, dude. I like it. I love the style.
It's I mean, Ryan Otley has look at this. This is messed up. This girl's getting bitten in half.
Ah! Poor girl.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I can watch this. Look at this girl on the phone. Nothing. Her boobs are hanging. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a horror guy, but this is just so silly. This is silly horror. And nobody does blood flying like Ryan Otley.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I got that book somewhere. I bought it off of him at a con one time because I'm a huge mark for anything sharks related. And I was just walking by his table. I was like, oh, what the hell is this?
It's real funny. There's this guy, and I guess he got his legs bit off by the grizzly shark, and so he's hanging on to this dude's back, and then he's peeing right here, he doesn't have any legs, and he's peeing, and he's shoots it in this dude's face. Anyway, it's just silly and gross, and the grizzly shark just eats everybody. So if you want something really nasty, but awesome art, I highly recommend it. And then this one, I got this a long time ago, and the this is Cal's he's just gonna go, oh, but the writer is Steve Orlando, but the artist is Artem Trakhanov. Right in the middle, right there.
Yeah.
And his art is awesome. And let's see if I can find something cool. He does these like really cool. I don't like you guys see.
Oh, it's good. Why would
really
I? I don't know why I'd hate that. I don't know.
Different. Do you know who Steve Orlando is?
I think I've heard of him, but I don't know why you'd think I wouldn't like that. It looks good.
You probably wouldn't like Steve Orlando if you knew about him. But anyway.
Because of the person. Gotcha.
Yeah, the person. Yeah, but the art is because you're like, oh, I won't read God Country because Donny Cates wrote it. So I thought you'd probably not like this dude either.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But you should still read God Country. It's so good. Anyway, this book is awesome, and it has totally this like really cool indie vibe. The art is really neat and unique, and I'm always down for one like this. This is Undertow Volume 1. It's called.
Very cool.
Yeah,
it's
very cool.
That looks
great. And I got this one just to make you mad. It's Kingdom Come by Mark Waid and Alex Ross.
Dude, Kingdom Come is one of my top 3 comic series ever. It's so good.
It is so good. I got this just because it is so good. Like Alex Ross art is just like, God, there's nothing else like it. It's incredible. So yeah, I pulled this out. I was like, I don't know if I'll show this or not, but if nobody out there has read Kingdom Come, you got to read this book. Go buy the trade. Do yourself a favor, buy the trade.
Don't buy the trade. Go read it for free because you don't want to support Mark Waid.
You could do that. Go to what is that website I've been using?
Read All Comics.
Read All Comics. It's terrible that's there, but I totally use it sometimes. ReadAllComics.com, maybe, is that what it is?
I have to recommend his art. Well, he put an art book out not too long. No, it's probably actually been a decade. I'm in my 40s, so not too long ago. It was like 2 decades ago. But Alex Ross has an art book out quite a while, and he has a lot of his sketches from when he was a kid. And so you can see he shows his development, and it's like
that's cool.
You know, I was about that good when I was his age. So yeah, let's step up.
Yeah, Alex Ross is just so friggin' good. I heard that Mark Waid ghost wrote that for Alex Ross, but I don't know. I might be wrong.
Anyway,
he didn't actually write it. But.
Yeah, that book is so good. Kingdom Come, I love it.
Oh man, the Flash in that, how he's so fast that he's almost literally omnipresent. He's in every place all at once. That's crazy.
Yeah. We got in the chat. He's giving
Here's what I got to share.
Oh, cool.
So as I said in the intro, I'm a Silver Age and Bronze Age collector. So I've been trying to collect a complete run of Iron Man up until at least when Junior took over for Bob Layton. But I've been working on my Spider-Man collection because I am a huge fan of Romita Senior.
Oh yeah.
So I got some really good early like he's a big inspiration for a lot of the covers that I do for my wrestling comic art stuff. Because this generation of artwork, you know, the story is being told on the cover to lure you in.
Yeah.
And the action sequences are great for translating into wrestling. So I
that's
picked up,
cool, yeah.
Second appearance of Shocker.
Nice.
This goes with my first appearance that I've already owned, and this is just some beautiful just with the cover compositions. They just really roll you in, and I couldn't pass on these because it was a good price, and these are very glossy. So they've been well preserved. So they get added into the collection. But yeah, this is my favorite of the covers of these 3.
That's a great cover.
Yeah. There's just so much depth in this one image that it's just like, okay, I got to read this, you know.
Yeah.
And we don't get that with our pinup covers nowadays.
Very cool. Very
That's
cool.
what I got to share.
All right. What do you got, Cal? I know you got something.
I got nothing. Hold on, let me take. I played Elden Ring a bit this week.
Yeah, I bet you did play Elden Ring a bit this week.
You guys, I get wanting to take time in the video games, and some of you are posting, I got 80 hours, I got 100 hours in the games. Like,
dude,
you're wasting valuable IP development time.
No, you're right. I seriously, like, I look back, I'll be sitting here, like trying to like write, and I can't, and I'm like, but I could be slashing monsters and finding weapons. And but like, what really ultimately, once it's done, once I beat a game and I've like exhausted, I'm sick of it, I look back and go, man, I wish I would have worked during that time. I wish I would have written. Like, I wish I would have used. I don't know how to use video games as inspiration to write. Like, if I want inspiration, I'll like read or I listen to audiobooks, Lovecraft or whatever. But video games just make me want to play more video games. They don't inspire me to do anything else.
It's got to be a break that you've earned. If it's that much of a part of your life, like you can't stop playing it, you got to make yourself earn that break. You know, okay, I've earned 2 hours of video game time because I got this goal accomplished.
Yeah, and that is what I've been doing. Like for the past weekish, because I beat Elden Ring about a week ago, but on the second playthrough, you find out you like discover almost just as much as you did the first time. So I have it, like, I'm playing through it again, but like only at night, and so like, yeah, it's kind of a treat for having done everything else throughout the day. But nothing. I haven't read any comics. I've been like, I'm lettering. I don't know if you know that we chose a comic for me to letter for free. Like a couple months ago.
How's that going? Yeah, give us an update.
It's good. Indie Dave, who is the writer of Oddity with the Sweens. His book, Daughters of Vengeance, won, and it's about some ladies who hunt werewolves.
Oh.
And I spent a lot of time just trying to develop a good like visual style of lettering that would match the art style. And now I'm working on the pages. I've got, I don't know, like 10 pages or something done, like 8 or 10 pages are done. Like, I haven't been doing a ton because they're like not even close to finished, and it takes me at the most 2 hours to letter a page. That's like way maximum. Usually, if I have all the balloon styles, fonts, everything chosen, it shouldn't take me more than 10 minutes to letter a page. But some pages like introduce a bunch of sound effects or some new characters that warrant a new like balloon design, new font choice or something. And so those take a little longer, but usually, you know, like if I'm lettering a book, I have all that stuff. Like, I have a lettering key file on Illustrator. It's like a double page spread file with like all the stuff I'm going to use for the whole book. So I have that for his book now, and so I've just been kind of having fun and slowly going through and like trying to make each panel, you know, each lettering panel look so perfect. But yeah, it's fun. I'm having a good time doing it.
Yeah, lettering is a wonderful craft to get into. It's a different realm in doing comic books, and I kind of like, for me, it's kind of a break. Like, the two things that I enjoy doing the most in working on other people's comics is lettering and inking, because for me it's a break. It's something that I enjoy, and it's relaxing. So it's not as taxing as doing pencils or doing colors, where it's like you're logging tons of hours trying to get something right. This is just kind of like not coast work, but it's something I can do that's like, I'm still productive, but I'm not taxing myself.
You like watch TV shows or something while you're doing it, you know?
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
Like, I'll put it on Netflix or whatever and just letter. It's like, I'm you know, you said the perfect word. It's relaxing. Like, I love, and the reason I decided to choose like a book to letter for free is because I'm really good at lettering. Like, not like, it's not tooting my own horn or anything. Like, it's easy to be good at something if you put in the time to be good at that thing. And I put a lot of time into becoming good at lettering. You know, pair that with me being a perfectionist, and like, if I letter a page, it's gonna look good because I can't not let it be good. And I know a lot of artists are the same way with their art. Like they're good. You can confidently say, I'm a good artist. When I draw a page, it's gonna look good when I'm done drawing it, and that's not prideful. It's just being honest. Like,
sure,
you take you take pride in what you're doing, and you strive for excellence. And so I'm the same way with lettering. Like it's a thing where I can be artistic without having the muscle memory of being a good artist. I use Illustrator, and it fills in a lot of the blanks as far as that goes. Like it's got a lot of the tools built in, so I can I don't have to know how to draw the perfect, like, really broken looking dialogue or like narration box. Like, you just make a box, and then you do skew or whatever it is, and you do rough in. Like, you use the tools that's already built in, and boom, I don't have to have the muscle memory. I can just use the tools. So yeah, I love it. I love Illustrator. I love lettering, and yeah, I'm with you, man. I think it's so relaxing. I love doing it.
It's out of date, but the book the Comic Craft put out years and years ago on how to letter comics it's still like the best resource on how to actually get started in Adobe Illustrator, and all of the stuff that they teach you in there. It hasn't, like, the book's dated because it's like Adobe Illustrator 11, so it's before Creative Suite.
Yeah,
but it's all fundamental skills that are still there and still applicable. So,
what's the book called?
It's How to Letter Comics by Comic Craft, the company that makes all the fonts.
Yeah.
I'm a huge font hog, and some of my friends have given me shit over the years because I actually pay for fonts. I don't just settle for everything on Duff font. And like, Comic Craft stuff is brilliant. And the first of the year, they always have a huge sale, and it makes it totally worth it. But
that's good. I've only bought one font, because the Danger Girl font for the J. Scott Campbell book, Danger Girl, was on sale for like $25, and it's normally like $300 or something. I was like, okay, I'll get that. I don't think I've used it on anything, but I own it. But I had a friend like early in Comicsgate, when I first got started, who I was like working on stuff with, who sent me a file with like so many fonts. Just tons of fonts that he either bought or got somewhere. So I have all these paid fonts that I can use, and then there's a lot of free ones that are actually really good. And then like the one, what was you were talking about? Which one?
Well, there's DA font, Duff font,
and there's Blambot, right?
Yeah,
and those are like the main two.
Duff font is notorious. They have tons of copycat fonts on there. And a lot of the stuff that you can find for like stuff used for like movies and famous logos and stuff, they have a ton of that on there. I try not to use any of that because it's very iconic and very recognizable.
Yeah.
But once you get into Illustrator, once you get into Illustrator, you can destroy, and repurpose and reshape. Like I did some logo work for Mark Polton. I've done 2 logos for Dave for Genuine Comics. Did the American Plus one. And then he's got a new one coming out that I just finished up on, and I love doing those because you get into it. It's like lettering, but it's even more creative than lettering because you're trying to come up with like a signature title for a book. So it's like you try to take in because like his book was it's Safeguard 7, and he decided, well, maybe we'll drop the 7 and just make it Safeguard. So I did this whole thing with this cool font. I had this red line going through it. Like, this is the line in the sand. This is the red line. He didn't quite buy into that logic, but you work back and forth, and you end up coming with something that looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm intimidated by logo design. Like, I'm not confident enough in Illustrator to be able to like repurpose something and make it like 100% my own. But I do love doing just the lettering process, and like.
This is the most recent one that I finished.
Oh yeah. Who's this for?
This is for Genuine Comics. This is for another one of his properties.
I'll look that up.
Dave Brink, currently funding Perfect 10 #3 on Indiegogo.
Oh, the Perfect 10 guy. Okay.
Yeah. So for this one, I was like, trying to do I wanted to have like cool highlights and stuff in it because I think it makes it really pop, but do something different than just like your generic. So I've kind of got it cascading off to the right of the font, and
it's good. I like it. Yeah,
that's the like advanced stuff is like, anyone can like, I guess, learn how to type, make a balloon and type letters into it. But when you start learning how to really like leverage all of the Illustrator, what they have to offer, so you can like really style, make your own style. That's where it gets really fun. Good stuff.
Thank you. If anybody out there needs a logo, it's $50 a pop. Give me a call.
That's a good price, man. Give this guy a call. Give him some logo work. And I'm up for lettering. I'm working on, like I said, Daughters of Vengeance for free, but I'll take some lettering work. Why not?
Got anything
to show?
Get some
lettering work.
Got anything to show?
Oh, do I? Oh,
yeah,
man. I wasn't prepared for this. Yeah, well, crying out loud, I can show some Shinobi Sasquatch pages.
Yeah, let's do it.
Duh.
One of the reasons I really got into doing logos is I was doing all of the wrestling art, and if you're not familiar with it, you can go to erichodson.com and see all of them. But I tried to ape the logos as close as possible, so I had to learn how to make these things. A lot of them were all handmade and hand-drawn. They weren't using fonts, so I've had to really learn how to get in there and break a font and try to come as close to it as possible.
Right.
Like I one of my favorites that I did a long time ago was for Becky Lynch, and I did the sensational Becky Lynch, like sensational She-Hulk. And I actually started with a Star Trek font from the font, and I had to break that up and manipulate it to kind of get it closer to the old style of the sensational She-Hulk covers. And so a lot of them can take quite a bit of time just to try to dissect what it is, and if I can find a base to start with to build up on it.
I'm sorry, I'm still looking for. I don't know what I've done with the files for.
Do you have something fresh to show?
Nothing fresh.
Stale, maybe a couple of days.
Something stale to show.
Well, like I've started doing some different strokes, like the old show, different strokes, where I'm doing some like brush strokes for the strokes, and I like those. But man, that's not right. That's old school. What the heck? Yeah, I don't know.
Getting into the Illustrator custom brushes and the custom lines that you can do with like the different, like you change the waveform of the line so that when it strokes, it has different thicknesses and thinness. There's a lot you can do with just playing around with that. And I'm not a huge, I'm not an expert at Illustrator like I am with some of the other Adobe programs. Like Illustrator, I know just enough to be dangerous, but trying to do advanced gradients and stuff in Illustrator, I'm like, no, I'm just going to do a smart object from Photoshop and do it all there because I already know how to do all that.
Right.
Like some people can do Illustrator so well that they'll make like photographic gradients with like all this complicated vector data. I'm like, no.
Right.
I do not want to do that.
Yeah, I don't do that either. I'm working on oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I come to a point like in lettering or anything where I want that, I'll just make it a really obnoxious green color so that when I go into Photoshop, it's easy to select it, that I can fill it with whatever I want.
There you go. Illustrator. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I'll just pull up my lettering key for Shinobi Sasquatch because the pages are just, extensions of that. They're just lettering over art.
That's a good thing to show because there's a lot of people who are probably doing their own. Maybe they never thought about doing a lettering key.
Yeah, my lettering key for Shinobi Sasquatch is pretty bare bones because I've already lettered a bunch of the book without this key, and then I started the key just because I wanted to work on really weird balloon styles. So I'll show you guys. I think I've showed this on the. I've showed this on the.
Yeah, you
show
showed
before.
it before.
Wait. Oh, here we go. So this is so this is for Cal Jameson's old timey lettering shoppy. I've got these are my custom. So like Eric Weathers sent me some of his templates he's used before, and then I realized that they were just repurposed templates from Blambot, I think. And so I took Blambot's template and I repurposed it and kind of did my own design, of everything. I put my own logo on there. It's a Shinobi Sasquatch face behind the old timey.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
I made my barber pole with just vector art. So anyway, but yeah, I wanted to get like a balloon that had some tentacles, because there's a lot of Lovecraftian stuff in Shinobi Sasquatch that most people don't know that, because the book is not finished enough for people to know that.
Can you zoom in on it? Because I want to see that closer up.
Yeah.
Oh,
so what I did was I literally just took so this is like Shinobi Sasquatch's word balloon. It's up close, it looks awful, but way back it looks good. He's got a similar. So I'm using two different fonts for his dialogue and for his narration, but they're kind of a similar tone. And then for the balloons in the boxes, I'm using the same brush basically to kind of make it look a little bit, just, I don't know, like unfinished or broken. For the fire demon, I have this kind of like red with a yellow broken outline. I'm gonna be doing that for the whole book. This is kind of like the killer. This is a serial killer guy. He's got kind of like a not broken, but like a rough balloon.
Yeah.
But
very scratchy. Like his voice sounds like mine. Like this 30-year-old Hollywood grandma has been smoking since she was 2.
Yeah, he's a smoker, no doubt. And then I wanted to have, because like I said, there's a lot of Lovecraft stuff, so I want to have some tentacles in here. So I'm working on different designs. I don't know if I want to use the this is a circular gradient with transparency and stuff kind of over the balloon, or just something like this where it's, I think I like this one here, maybe with a less thick stroke on it. It's a little thick, but
I don't know. That one's very striking. Like it really communicates that Lovecraftian Cthulhu. Like you nailed it with that one, I think.
Oh, thanks. Well, and I literally just took pictures of tentacles, like PNGs of tentacles, and doing some Illustrator magic. You can just combine I don't even know how I did this, honestly. I think I have notes somewhere. Oh, right here. Yeah, this is my notes on how to do that, because it's appearance, add new stroke, effect, path. It's a bunch of different steps, but eventually you can combine some tentacles with a word balloon, and then you get this really awesome looking tentacled word balloon. And then you add in some some faded gradient kind of a thing. Yeah, it's cool. Lettering is, man, I'm with you, man. Lettering is so fun. It's so relaxing. I love this stuff. It just, it fuels me, like writing is taxing, but lettering is just fun.
Yeah.
Y'all nerdy lettering dudes.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, I don't have any. Well, maybe I can show a page. Let me see if I have a page to show.
What are you working on, Macho?
Not a lot. Nothing really official at the moment. I'm writing a little bit, but I'm kind of taking my time. Mutt and I are working on Hero Volume 2. That's about it. I'm not doing anything real intense, creative wise. At least in this. In comics, I have a lot of other things on my plate right now. So, but yeah.
Muttman's not here, so I can go ahead and make him blush. He's leveled up in his art.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. He's one of my earliest follows on Twitter from when CG started up back in the day. When Mike Miller was still around.
Yep.
I can remember how he started out, and just watching him over the years, he's really he's leveled up. He's doing great. And it's awesome to see.
It is, yeah. He's really, really come a long way. And his most recent stuff he's been showing is really good. He's coming into like, I guess, like really finding the style that fits him, and he's really kind of figuring that out. And it's awesome to see. So Hero Volume 2, it will come out. We're kind of taking our time on it. We're not rushing anything. We just want to make it good comics. So we're not stressed about it, and it's good because he's just putting in the work now, and it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be really cool.
Sweet.
So,
yeah,
awesome.
That's all.
Yeah,
we're
Eric,
on,
I've said similar things about Mutt. Like he feels like he's going Super Saiyan. Like he, like Hero's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hero is a great book. It's one of my top like 2-3 Comicsgate books. If I was gonna, it might be top 2. So good. Like story, Macho, you did a great job on story, dude. Dialogue's great. Muttman killed the art, but he's definitely leveled up, like you said.
He has, for sure.
He's taken it to a new level. On our Rumble channel, I have one of the pieces of Hero art. I don't know if that's from the book or not, but have you guys?
You have it on Rumble?
Yeah, here I'll share that real quick. So anyway, real quick, this is some of the Shinobi Sasquatch stuff. I wanted to share this real quick. We'll jump over to Hero, just because I had hired Eric Weathers to do the lettering on this book, but I realized I couldn't afford to keep him going. So and I'm a good letterer. I just didn't want to do it. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna do it. He's got lots of work. I don't feel bad. Like, he's not going to go broke. Like, he's got tons of work.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did use. I was inspired by his style to do some of this, the sound effects and stuff. I wanted him to still have to look at this book and go, yeah, I contributed to that. So I did. I took his SFX style and kind of kept that, but then I went with my own direction with the lettering. And like, I love the way the Demon's lettering turned out. Like, I think it looks so good. I know I'm tooting my own horn. I think it looks so cool to have, like the red with the yellow around it, and it's like uneven. And I love Shinobi Sasquatch's word balloons, how they're kind of like, they look real like.
He's very, well. I mean, it communicates that he's a very rustic character. Like, he's old school in an uncivilized way,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So anyway, so that's that. So I'll switch over to we know we don't need to save anything.
That's one of the things that a lot of people, especially amateurs who are just starting out, they don't realize is that the lettering gives their character not only a voice, but it helps flesh out who the character is, what the character is.
Yeah.
If you have the right letters for it, you can imagine the vocal tone. Like what I did with the whole Hollywood Grandma thing. It's like the lettering, the font face, the look of it communicates something that's auditory in our minds, and it can help make connections with the characters. And that's one of the things that's hard for me to get into a lot of indie books, is because they forget they don't know to do that. So like every character ends up speaking with the same voice.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and that's a big deal. Like, if you can't distinguish the characters when you're reading through a book,
right?
That's a pain,
Yeah, anyway, one of the things I did with Dinosaur Man is I made his balloons on the webtoon all red about two episodes in. They're just red with white letters, and then they're very gravelly looking to kind of flesh out more of his voice.
Yeah, I mean, lettering really, like, I know you guys can join with me on this. Bad lettering can ruin a good book. It really can. Good lettering,
you won't notice it.
You don't notice it.
Yeah, it'll be a seamless experience. It's part of the art.
Yeah, and as much time as I put into like designing that Fire Demon's lettering boxes or lettering balloons and stuff, if I did a good job, you're not going to notice them. They're gonna fit with the art so perfectly.
Right.
And with his voice, you're gonna be like, well, yeah, that's his voice. Like, that balloon fits his voice, of course.
Yeah.
It just goes in your brain. It's perfect.
What you've just shown is enough for me to know that if I needed to hire a letterer, I would definitely call you.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, that means a ton. Thank you so much. Oh my god.
Yeah, look at that Rumble banner. That's awesome.
Yeah, I did this. I mean, I really just did this up real quick because no one was answering on Discord. I'm like, hey, if any artists want to do a Rumble banner, please do. And like Mark and Muttman are our artists, you know, and neither of them responded. I'm like, fine, I'll do one. But yeah, I just took Shinobi Sasquatch. I took a couple of Mark's pieces. I love his Kyle Rittenhouse piece. It's so freaking good. Threw that in there. This hero piece by Muttman.
Yeah,
this is what we're talking about. This is a guy leveling up right here. And why can't I mean, okay, that's good. That is a really striking piece.
Yeah, he had a new panel. It's part of the story that he put out this week, and I think on his Instagram is where it was. Let's see if I can find it. It's really good.
That's from the new book. This piece.
Yeah. That one was from the old book. There is a dream. There's a sequence from the new. From the new book, but
so if this is from the old book and he's leveling up from here. I mean, this is phenomenal. This is really striking
that's in the old book. That's a kind of a splash page in the first book. Yeah,
that's good stuff, man. Yeah.
And Mutt does a lot of lettering too.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, yeah, he's a great letterer too. But yeah, I'm just gonna say not to mention.
He did all the letters in our.
Globe.
Yeah, he did all the letters in our book as well. So he does a little bit of everything. He's been doing commissions lately too. So he's been staying busy. He gets a lot of freelance. It's freelance graphic design stuff. So he ends up just working on hero stuff, and whenever he's not doing freelance and making extra money.
Yeah.
Whenever he can, I don't blame him.
I wish it was so easy for writers.
Man, yeah, I guess like for me though, I only really I think I'd have a hard time writing for somebody else. Like I want to write what I want to write. I don't want to write about for example, like I don't know, like that werewolf book. You're lettering that book, and it looks great, but it just doesn't interest me in writing anything about that. Like,
right.
It would be the worst script because I just couldn't get into it.
Dude, that's a good point. Like art is, I mean, yeah, I know that it's easier to draw something if you're passionate about it. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to it, it really, I feel like with art, if you're a great artist, you can make something look great, even if you're not super passionate about it. Mm-hmm. With writing, so much of it is your heart flowing out, you know.
Sure.
At least if you're that kind of writer. I know some people are just kind of robots. They just like, I am writing something. They just churn stuff out. Yeah. But I'm not that way. Like I really have to be inspired. If I'm not inspired, I can't write. And if I do write, it sucks.
Yep.
It's just garbage.
Yep, absolutely.
I cannot write a script for somebody else to save my life. I write the way that Stan Lee does. He just waits for the pages to be done, and then you come up with the dialogue. I'm like,
yeah.
That's
how does
the
that
most
work?
comfortable.
Did Stan Lee say, "Hey, this is kind of like the basic story of the book"? Then the artist draws it, and then he does dialogue. Is that what?
That's the Marvel method.
Yeah, that's that's because they hated each other and they couldn't get along in the same room.
Yeah. Mutt and I did kind of a variation of that though, or not necessarily, I guess. Like we created the whole, or I kind of like wrote the whole story arc, and Mutt started drawing, and as I was writing dialogue and having dialogue written down before he drew panels, just so we could have ideas of how big panels needed to be or where people needed to be placed and stuff, because you got to think about that stuff too, or artists do anyway. But I was working on dialogue and like cleaning up dialogue as the process was being created. So I had the general idea of what I wanted them to say, but a lot of those things change, and you'll probably do the same thing, Cal. Like like you'll change dialogue and change how things look based on the piece or based on how it's flowing, I guess. Like how
that's why I'm never ever gonna hire a letterer. I'm always gonna letter my work, because I realize once the art's done, the lettering just completely, and like the script needs to almost be rewritten. Not 100%.
Yeah.
But it's so, like, for instance, an artist will not always, like, let's say panel 3 starts with character A talking and then character B talking. The artist will not always get that, and they'll draw character B on the left and character A on the right.
Yeah.
And it's so clunky to have the dialogue, you can't have the tails crossed. That's a no-no. You just don't do that. So you have to figure out some creative way. So you'll have like character B's balloon, and then the tail going up over character A's balloon. It makes it harder for the letterer. And so, like, once I get a script, or once I get the art from a script, specifically with Rob, because that's my main knowledge right now. Like, I'll literally go in and completely rewrite a page based on how the art went.
Yeah, we definitely did some of that. Like Mutt, at least we were in really close communication throughout the whole process, and he was able to like know ahead of time. But there were some things that had to be changed, and you just have to be able to creatively, rewrite what you're trying to say. Or sometimes it has to be in fewer words because you think you're going to have this much space, but something needs to be in that panel. You got to figure out where to save space, and sometimes that's words.
Yeah, okay. For artists tuning in at the tail end of this, a couple of tips. One, if on a panel, one character starts talking and then another one goes, the first person, draw them on the left. Just always do that. Don't ever stray from that. Number 2, if there's a panel with like 2 or 3 word balloons, or like 1 or 2 big ones with lots of dialogue, don't fill that panel with art. Don't, because it's going to get covered up. You don't want your beautiful art to be covered up. If you see that there's a panel with like people are going back and forth with dialogue, draw small. like use less space. Have more negative space there, so that art, so that the letters can go in that negative space instead of covering your beautiful art. Letterers don't want to cover art, but sometimes we have to, because artists don't pay attention to how much space needs to be allocated for those letters. So
I always try to be cognizant of like what needs to be communicated on a page when I'm drawing it, and like with the work I do for Best Bucket Comics, like with the Roddy Piper book and the British Bulldog book. The way Dominic writes is he will basically write a long form script. It's not necessarily broken into panel 1, panel 2, panel 3.
Okay.
And for the British Bulldog, I asked him, hey, can you do some panel breakdowns? Well, every single page was a 6-panel page. I'm like, dude, we can't do this.
Yeah.
We cannot do this. This is going to be more pages than what you think, because we can't have 6 panels on every single page. Because we got some great moments like Matilda the Bulldog jumping out at Davy Boy Smith. That needs to be at least a half splash.
Yeah.
That can't be a small panel with a bunch of others around it. So we kind of work back and forth. And once I get the pages done, he'll go back, look at his script, and see where he needs to move things around, what changes need to be made. And then that's the script he will send to the letterer.
Eric, you, Macho, Mutt, Mark, and I should plan a stream where we give tips to the artists, writers, and letterers. I mean, because like seriously, so many of the issues could be ironed out if people could just know, like if an artist would know what does a letterer need and what does the writer need, like what does the writer want me to do, like all that stuff, like you're saying, some writers give you like just kind of like a script and you break it down, but you can't do 6 panels per, like you have like, and that's one thing I'm noticing when I'm working with Rob is that like I'll give him, and I've given Rob a lot of room. Like I've told him, hey, if it's a splash and you make it 5, 9 panels, whatever, do whatever you want, because he's a phenomenal artist. Like if he wants to tell the story in more panels or less panels, that's fine, as long as the story gets told. But not all artists can do that, So yeah, it would be cool to have a stream where we can kind of like say from all points of view, like what do we need? What do letterers need from the artist and from the writer? What do artists need from the letterer and the like each role? how can we work together more fluidly? You know,
we could definitely do that as a stream to start out with. But what if what if there's a demand for advice in this way? Maybe we could do something like CG triage. You know, what are you struggling with? Bring it here. We'll go through it and hash it up. And
I've brought up the idea before of doing something like Comics Experience, like what I was telling you about, because that's where I learned that criticism is probably being able to take criticism is probably the most important thing for any kind of creative. Like more than the skill that you're learning is being able to take criticism, because you can be like a middling artist, but if you can take criticism, you can make yourself amazing.
Oh yeah.
If someone says to you, for instance, let's say you're not a Rob Willis level artist, you know, your detail is way less, your physiology is less, whatever. But somebody, you know, 2 or 3 people critique you and they say, hey, your style is cool, but you need to do this or that. If you can take that criticism, you could be more famous than somebody like Rob Willis or like Dale Keown or whatever, because you take criticism well. But if you don't, then you're just going to go on being a middling artist. And the same thing goes for writers and letterers. So you're right. Sure. I pitched that kind of idea before. Like maybe we can create a website like where, you know, people pay $10 a month or something. They're part of, they can jump in. They get, you know, if they can basically the thing was you had to critique like 2 or 3 other pieces, and then you're eligible for critique. If you can give substantive critiques of a few other pieces of, you know, scripts or pieces of art or whatever, then you're eligible to be critiqued by someone else. But then people, you know, everyone who I pitched that to shot me down. But I think it would be really helpful, because a lot of the things. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's enough. I think there certainly is enough demand out for it. I think the people shooting it down are probably the, you know, I don't know who they are, but yeah, they're the most likely to get butthurt over it, you know, or maybe they're just afraid of that because of like the world we live in, where everything has to be a catastrophe on Twitter and YouTube to get clicks, you know. But but honestly, I would love to be able to redline some people's anatomy and like, no, you need to fix this. I would love to do that, and I know for a fact I would get hate mail for doing it.
Right.
Because that's just the world we live in. But if you want to build a platform for it, I will definitely throw my hat in on that. Because I love helping to build people's skills up. Because I'm a teacher. I got a master's degree in art education, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's talk about this more in the future. Let's keep it going. I got to go and watch